What were the Founding Fathers thinking? Mark, these guys gathered in this room right here. Next question about what they were doing and what were they thinking when they created an Article 5 convention opportunity for the states. Why in the world, they said, would Congress follow any new amendments adopted by this convention and then ratified by the states if they're already not following the Constitution? Now, the way I read that is to say, wouldn't they know that if the federal government's out of control, if George Mason rises and tells these guys if the federal government ever gets out of control, we have to put them back in the box? Wouldn't they know, well, if the federal government's ignoring the Constitution, why wouldn't they ignore amendments to the Constitution?
So that's my favorite question of all questions. And here's why.
Wait, let me tell this guy.
Yeah, definitely let him know.
Do we need to send him a book or anything?
For sure.
Cookie?
Here's why, because it was my question.
Oh.
So Mike Ferris brought this idea to me.
Did you send that question to me?
No.
Okay.
Mike Ferris brought this idea to me,
Yeah.
and somebody you know well,
Yeah.
father of the homeschool movement in America.
And a great constitutional scholar.
Great constitutional scholar himself. And so he brought this idea to me, and I asked that very question, like, well, they're not paying attention now, so why would they pay attention?
Yeah.
And he said, well, Mark, I got a question for you. When you say they're not following the Constitution, which Constitution are you referring to? I was dumbfounded. I only know of one, right? I carried it around in my pocket or on my phone. He goes, yeah, well, there are two. There's the Constitution that you know and love that was drafted in this room, and then there's one you can order from the government printing office. You can still order it today, by the way, if they have them in print, about $130. Right now it's over 3,000 pages. It weighs about 10 pounds. It contains every case ever issued by the United States Supreme Court, telling us what these guys meant.
That is a physical description of when we do our full course on this. When I teach in here, I talk about that and I call it the Courtstitution.
Yeah.
But you're saying there's an actual copy of it.
There's an actual book. And I didn't know this. I ordered one. It sits on my desk at home to remind me what we're dealing with here. So the federal government really operates within the bounds of that Constitution. So they actually are following
Which
the
is not the one these guys gave us.
Not the one these guys gave us. So the question is, how do we fix that, first of all? And you fix it by using the amendment process under Article 5. You cut that down to that,
Yes.
right? You go back to something much more reasonable. But there's also another political reality. I talk a lot about, like, just what's the political reality, right? So the history in our country of amendments is that they are followed pretty closely for at least 100 years. And it's not because they're magic, no pixie dust on them. The reason is politics. Right, if you get 3/4 of states to ratify something, the vast majority of public opinion is going one way.
Politicians are not going to go the other direction. No,
they
you're
don't
right.
got a stiff spine. They're going to finger in the wind, right? And they're
That
gonna go,
wind's
well,
blowing pretty hard if you get a
that's right. And so they all go, hey, the American people want this. And what I find, Rick, it's kind of funny. The politicians, even ones who are against it, will go, yeah, I've been in favor of that since I was in grammar school, right?
Right.
They all blow with the wind. And so what we find is that amendments last for at least 100 years. Probably have to do it again 100 years from now.
Well, that's okay. These guys knew that. They expected us to do that, and that's what the founders were thinking.